aquí. Ok. Unidad 9, page 79, vocabulary preview. Okay, listen and repeat. Okay, listen and repeat. Open your microphone, please. Turn on your microphone. Edwin, turn on your microphone, Edwin. Okay, repeat. Call,
Call,
cook,
cook,
drive,
drive,
eat,
eat,
listen to music,
listen to music,
paint,
paint,
play,
play,
read,
read,
sell,
sell,
shop,
stop,
shop, shop,
shop,
sing,
sing,
speak,
speak,
visit,
visit,
watch, watch TV, sorry,
watch,
work.
work,
Okay, Edwin, in Spanish, what is call?
marcar,
Llamar, llamar. Okay, cook, Edwin,
cocinar,
drive,
conducir,
okay, eat,
comer,
listen to music.
oír música,
That's correct, very good. Escuchar música, okay. Eunice, paint,
pintar,
play,
tocar,
tocar. It also means jugar, okay. También significa jugar, pero en este caso no jugamos con el violín, tocamos el violín, okay. Es tocar. Read,
leer,
sell,
no sé,
okay. Sell, vender, vender. And shop,
comprar,
comprar. That's correct. Abby, sing,
cantar,
speak,
escuchar, no,
speak is hablar. Speak, hablar. Speak.
hablar,
Do you speak English? Do you speak Spanish? Speak, hablar. Visit,
visitar,
watch TV,
ver la televisión,
okay. Work,
eh, trabajar.
trabajar. Okay, very good. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, let's continue. And here we have interviews around the world. Interviews es entrevistas. Entrevistas. Interviews around the world. So, Edwin, in Spanish, what is interviews around the world?
Entrevistas en todo el mundo.
That's correct. Entrevistas alrededor del mundo. Around is alrededor. Okay, alrededor del mundo. Okay, and remember that I, we, you, and they, con esos pronombres, con yo, nosotros, tú, ustedes y ellos, el verbo no cambia, se deja el verbo normalito. Okay? Yes. Y luego dice la pregunta, where. What is where in Spanish? Abby, what is where?
¿Dónde?
Donde. If, for example, if I say, Abby, where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you live? What is the meaning of that question in Spanish? Where do you live?
¿Dónde vives tú?
¿Dónde vives? That's correct. O ¿dónde viven ustedes? And if I say, Edwin, where do they live?
Eh,
Spanish,
¿Dónde viven ustedes?
ustedes no. Ustedes is you.
Digo, ellos.
¿Dónde viven ellos? And Abby, if I say, sorry, Eunice, if I say, where do we live?
¿Dónde viven? ¿Dónde vivimos nosotros?
¿Dónde vivimos nosotros? That's correct, okay? So, and now this is donde. Where is donde, right? Where is donde? And now in this question, what is qué? What is qué? What is qué? And do is hacer. So the question this question, what do you do? What do you do? Literalmente en español sería ¿qué haces? ¿Qué haces tú? Pero esa pregunta en español está mal traducida. La pregunta en realidad es ¿a qué te dedicas? Cuando alguien me hace la pregunta what do you do es ¿a qué te dedicas? ¿Sí? ¿A qué te dedicas? Pero si me dicen what do you do every day, ahí sí significa what do you do every day, ahí sí significa ¿qué haces? ¿Qué haces todos los días? What do you do every day? ¿Qué haces todos los días? ¿Qué es lo que haces todos los días? ¿Ok? Ahí sí significa eso, ¿qué haces todos los días? Alright? ¿Qué haces todos los días? Entonces, si yo digo, Edwin, what do they do every day? What's that in Spanish, Edwin?
¿Qué haces todos los días?
They, what do they do every day?
Ah, ¿qué hacen todos los días?
Ajá, ¿qué hacen ellos todos los días? Alright? Okay, very good. Okay, let's repeat the question, the example. Okay, repeat the example. Repeat. What's your name?
What's your name?
My name is Antonio.
My name is Antonio.
Where do you live?
Where do you live?
I live in Rome.
I live in Rome.
What language do you speak?
What language do you speak?
I speak Italian.
I speak Italian.
Tell me, what do you do every day?
Tell me, what do you do every day?
I eat Italian food.
I eat Italian food.
I sing Italian songs.
I sing Italian songs.
And I watch Italian TV shows.
And I watch Italian TV shows.
Okay. Abby, you are Alpha. And Eunice, you are Bravo. Okay, in Spanish.
No digo las preguntas. ¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Ajá.
Mi nombre es Antonio.
Ujú,
¿Dónde vives?
ujú,
Yo vivo en Roma.
ujú.
¿Qué
¿Qué
lenguaje,
idioma?
qué
Ah,
idioma es el que habla?
ajá, ¿qué idioma hablas? ¿Qué idioma
¿Qué idioma
hablas?
habla? ¿Qué idioma hablas? Yo hablo italiano.
Ujú.
Eh, Cuéntame,
Cuéntame o dime, ajá, dime o cuéntame.
dime
¿Qué? ¿Qué
¿qué
haces? ¿Qué
haces todos
haces?
los días?
Ujú,
Yo como comida italiana.
ujú.
Yo escucho música
Canto.
italiana.
Yo canto.
Canto.
Ujú.
Y
Yo canto
yo,
canciones italianas.
ajá, cierto,
Songs is canciones, ¿ok? Songs, canciones.
cierto, cierto.
Yo canto
Yo
canciones
canciones
italianas.
italianas.
Ajá,
Y yo veo shows en la TV italiana.
correcto. Okay, that's the meaning. Okay, very good. Okay, now in English, Edwin, I am Alpha and you are Bravo, Edwin. Okay, what's your name?
Yo,
Yes,
todo.
you are Bravo. You are Bravo. What's your name?
My name is Antonio.
Where do you live?
I live in Rome.
In Rome. I live
In
in
Rome,
Rome. What language do you speak?
I speak Italian.
Tell me, what do you do every day?
Um, I eat Italian food. I sing Italian
Songs. Hay que
song,
pronunciar la S al final. Italian songs.
songs, and I watch Italian TV shows.
Okay, very good. Ahora tú me preguntas. You are Alpha and I'm Bravo.
What's your name?
My name is Antonio.
Where do you live?
I live in Rome.
What language do you speak?
I speak Italian.
Um, Tell me what you do.
What do you do? What do you do?
What you do?
What
Everybody.
do you do? What do you do?
What do you do every day?
I eat Italian food, I sing Italian songs, and I watch Italian TV shows. Okay, Abby, you are Alpha, and Eunice, you are Bravo.
What's your name? My name is Antonio. Where do you live?
Where do you
Um,
live? Where do you
where
live?
do you live? I live in Rome. Uh, what what language do you speak? I speak Italian. Tell me, what do you do every day? Eat Italian food. I sing Italian songs, and uh, I watch Italian TV show.
Ok, TV shows. Hay que pronunciar la S, acuérdense. En inglés es importante que la S suene al final. Hay que pronunciarla, hay que esforzarnos por pronunciarla. Ok, shows, things, songs. Ok, all right.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Now, here we have six people. Carmen from Madrid, she speaks Spanish. Kenji from Tokyo, he speaks Japanese. Nicole from Paris, she speaks French. Eric and Monica, they are from Berlin. They speak German. Jay from Seoul, she speaks Korean. Boris and Natasha from Moscow, they speak Russian. Tenemos que hacer estas preguntas. Tenemos que hacer estas preguntas, pero por ejemplo, eh, tenemos que, tenemos que cambiar el pronombre. En lugar de decir I, vamos a decir we, por ejemplo, si es plural, ¿no? Si es singular, vamos a decir I, pero si es plural como en estos, como las de la número 4 de Eric y Mónica, vamos a decir we en lugar de I en las respuestas, ¿ok? Las preguntas son las mismas. Las preguntas son las mismas. Por ejemplo, aquí, la primera, What's your name? What's your name? La respuesta sería, My name is Carmen. Where do you live? I live in Madrid. What language do you speak? I speak Spanish. What do you do every day? I eat Spanish food. I sing Spanish Spanish songs, and I watch Spanish TV shows. ¿Ok? Spanish TV shows. Eso es lo que vamos a poner. ¿Ok? Ya les puse la respuesta a la primera. Copian. Copian la primera. Noten que en la última tienen que poner, en la última respuesta tienen que poner yo como, yo canto, yo veo. Y la
Mister,
nacionalidad. Yes.
sorry, cuando son dos personas, ¿se hace la misma pregunta o...?
Es la misma pregunta, solamente que la respuesta en lugar de ser con I va a ser con we,
Ah, ok.
¿sí? Por ejemplo, what, eh, solamente la primera pregunta, Edwin, es la que va a cambiar. La primera pregunta, en lugar de decir what's your name, para plural va a ser what are your names? ¿Cuáles son sus nombres? En plural, en lugar de decir what's your name, vamos a decir what are your names. ¿Ok, Abby? ¿Ok, Eunice? En plural. ¿Ok? Bueno, entonces me hacen este ejercicio. Hacemos este ejercicio, ¿ok? Cuando terminen me dicen. Voy a pararme tantito. going to start the recording. Let us check. Okay. Number one is there. Abby. Number two, Abby, question and answer.
Mm, what's your name?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Kenji.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live?
Where do you
Live.
live? Where do you
Where
live?
where do you live?
Mm-hmm.
And live in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
What language do you speak?
Mm-hmm.
And speak
I
Japan.
I speak
I speak Japanese.
Japanese. Japanese.
Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese. What do you do every day?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No,
I I
I.
I
Mm-hmm.
I eat Japanese food.
Mm-hmm.
I sing Japanese songs
Mm-hmm.
and I watch Japanese TV shows.
Okay, very good. Eunice, number three.
Mhm. What's your name?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live?
Live.
Ah,
Where do you live?
cierto, perdón. I live.
Hmm?
I live in Paris.
Paris. I live in Paris. Paris.
Paris.
Uh-huh.
What language do you speak?
Mm-hmm.
I speak French.
Okay.
What do you do every day?
Mm-hmm.
I eat French food.
Mm-hmm.
I sing French songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch French TV shows.
Okay, very good. Edwin, number four.
What are you doing? What are your names?
Uh-huh.
Eric and Monica.
Okay, but complete answer, Edwin. Complete answer, you have to say, our names are Eric and Monica.
Oh, oh,
Our names are
our
Eric and Monica.
our names are Eric and Monica.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, where do you do live?
No, where do you live? Where do you
Where do
live? Mm-hmm.
we live in Berlin?
We live in Berlin. We live in Berlin.
We live in well Berlin
We live in Berlin. In Berlin.
in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
What language do you speak?
Mm-hmm.
We speak German.
Yes.
What do you every day?
What do you do? What do you
What do
do
what do you do every day?
every day? What do you do
Every,
every day?
what do you do every day?
Mm-hmm.
I eat German food.
Mm-hmm.
I sing German songs
Mm-hmm.
and I watch German TV shows.
Okay, very good. Abby, number five.
What's your name?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Jay Key.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live?
Uh-huh.
Live in Seoul.
Uh-huh.
What language do you speak? I speak Korean.
Korean. Korean.
Korean.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do every day?
Mm-hmm.
I eat Korean food.
Korean.
I
Korean.
Korean food.
Mm-hmm.
I sing Korean songs and I watching
Watch.
Korean TV
Watching
show.
no. Watching
Watch,
no.
watch,
Watch.
watch
Yes.
TV show.
Okay. Eunice, number six.
What are your names?
Names. Es al final. What are your
Mm,
names? De
What
nuevo.
are your names?
Ujú.
Or name are
Names. Es al final.
names.
Names are.
Names are Boris and Natasha.
Okay. Ujú.
Where do you live?
No. Where do you live?
Cierto, perdón. Where do you live?
Ajá.
Is
We.
we live
No. We
we
live. Ujú.
live Moscow,
Yes. In Moscow. Moscow.
Moscow.
Moscow. Ajá.
What language do you speak?
Ujú.
We speak Russian,
Russian. Russian.
Russian.
Russian. Ajá.
Mhm. What do you do every day?
Ujú.
We eat Russian food.
Ujú.
We sing Russian songs,
Ajá.
and we watch Russian TV shows.
TV shows.
Shows.
Plural. Shows. Okay, very good. All right. Do you have questions? No? Okay, we are going to practice in pairs. We're going to practice in pairs. Abby and Eunice are going to practice together. And I'm going to practice with Edwin, okay? Remember, 2 times, okay? 2 times. Let's create. Wait. Wait. Okay. Abby and Eunice, take the invitation, okay? You're going to practice 2 times, okay? Okay.
Ay,
No te veo, Edwin.
sorry.
Okay, Edwin. Okay, Edwin. Let's practice, Edwin.
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Carmen.
Where do you live?
I live in Madrid.
I know. I live in
I
Madrid.
like
No,
it.
I live in.
I live in Madrid.
What language do you speak?
I speak Spanish.
What do you do every day?
I eat Spanish food. I sing Spanish songs, and I watch Spanish TV shows.
What's your name?
My name is Kenji.
Where do you live?
I live in Tokyo.
What language do you speak?
I speak Japanese.
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 What do you do every day?
I eat Japanese food and I sing Japanese songs and I watch Japanese TV shows.
What's your name?
My name is Nicole.
Where do you live?
I live in Paris.
Paris. I live in Paris.
I live in Paris.
What language do you speak?
I speak French.
What do you do every day?
I eat French food. I sing French songs and I watch French TV shows.
What are your names?
Our names are Eric and Monica.
Where do you live?
I no
We.
we live in Berlin.
What language do you speak?
We speak German.
What do you do every day?
We eat German food where we sing German songs and we watch German TV shows.
What's your name?
My name is Jake.
Jaihi.
Jake.
Where do you live?
I live in Seoul.
Seoul. I live in Seoul.
So
What language do you speak?
I speak Korean.
Korean. I
Korean.
speak Korean.
I
What
speak.
do what do you do every day?
I eat Korean food. I sing Korean songs and I watch Korean TV shows.
What are your names?
Our names are Boris and Natasha.
Where do you live?
Where we live in Moscow.
We live in
In Moscow.
Moscow. We live in Moscow.
We live in Moscow.
What language do you speak?
We speak Russian.
Russian. We speak
Russian.
Russian.
We speak Russian.
What do you do every day?
We eat Russian food. We sing Russian songs and we watch Russian TV shows.
Okay, now you ask me.
What's your name?
My name is Carmen.
Where do you live?
Where? No, where. Where? Where do you live?
Where do you live?
I live in Madrid.
What language do you speak?
I speak Spanish.
What do you do every day?
I eat Spanish food, I sing Spanish songs, and I watch Spanish TV shows.
What's your name?
My name is Kenji.
Where do you live?
I live in Tokyo.
What language do you speak?
I speak Japanese.
What do you do every day?
I eat Japanese food, I sing Japanese songs, and I watch Japanese TV shows.
What's your name?
My name is Nicole.
Where do you live?
I live in Paris.
What language do you speak?
I speak French.
What do you do every day?
Every day.
Every day.
I eat French food, I sing French songs, and I watch French songs. French TV shows. Sorry.
What are your names?
Our names are Eric and Monica.
Where do you live?
We live in Berlin.
What language do you speak?
We speak German.
What do you do every day?
We eat German food, we sing German songs, and we watch German TV shows.
What's your name?
My name is J.E.
Where do you live?
I live in Seoul.
What language do you speak?
I speak Korean.
What do you do every day?
I eat Korean food, I sing Korean songs, and I watch Korean TV shows.
What your names?
What are your names?
What are your names?
Our names are Boris and Natasha.
Where do you live?
We live in Moscow.
What language do you speak?
We speak Russian.
What do you do every day?
We eat Russian food, we sing Russian songs, and we watch Russian TV shows. Okay?
Mr.
Questions? Yes.
Una pregunta. Food, ¿qué es?
Comida.
Comida. ¿Por qué están dos rayitas?
Porque debe ser punto y coma en lugar de coma.
Ah, ok.
Ahí le puse coma y debe ser punto y coma. ¿Ya viste? Ok. Nada más por eso es un error de escritura, nada más.
Ah, ok.
Porque en lugar de coma debe ser punto y coma. Ok. Okay. Let's call Abby and Eunice, right? Let's call them back.
Yes.
Let's call them back.
I'm great.
Okay. Let's wait for them to come. Okay, problems, Abby? Problems, Eunice? No? Did you finish? Yes? Okay. Let's go to the next page. People around the world. People around the world. What's the translation of this? People around the world, Eunice?
Personas alrededor del mundo.
That's correct. And remember that for he, Edwin, for she, and for it, At the end of the verb, we have to put an extra S. La S y la extra S solamente es para he, she. Ahí le tenemos que poner la S y es importante que la pronunciemos, ¿ok? Debemos hacer un esfuerzo por pronunciarla. Y aquí, en lugar de ser do, como acá arriba, que era do, el auxiliar, acá para he, she, como es he, she, la pregunta es con does, ¿ok? La pregunta es con does. Entonces aquí la pregunta, where does he live? Where does he live? What's the meaning in Spanish, Abby? Where does he live?
¿Dónde está viviendo él?
¿Está viviendo? No, está viviendo sería
¿Está?
where is he living?
¿Dónde vive él?
¿Dónde vive? ¿Ok? ¿Dónde vive? And where does she live, Eunice? Where does she live?
Mm,
Where does
¿dónde
she live?
vive?
¿Dónde vive ella?
Mm,
Right? And where does it live, Edwin? Where does it live?
¿Dónde vive eso?
¿Dónde vive eso? Por ejemplo, un perro, ¿no? O un gato. Ah, and then the next question, Abby, what does he do? Vamos a suponer que le ponemos el what. Recuerden que les dije que what do you do significa que te dedicas. Pero vamos a suponer que le que ponemos what does he do every day? What does he do every day? Ahí qué significaría la pregunta, Abby. What does he do every day?
¿Qué, qué hace todos los días él?
Correcto, que hace todos los días él, ¿ok? Que hace todos los días él. Aquí vamos a trabajar con las terceras personas del singular, que son he, she, y a la oración afirmativa le tenemos que agregar una S o ES al final y a la pregunta la vamos a usar con does, ¿ok? Ok, repetimos. What's his name?
What's
What's
his
his name?
name?
His name is Miguel.
His name is Miguel.
Where does he live?
Where
Where
does
does
he live?
he live?
He lives in Mexico City.
He lives
He lives
in
in Mexico City.
Mexico
Mexico.
City. Okay, what language does he speak?
What language
What
do
language does he speak?
He speaks Spanish.
he
He
speak?
speaks
But
Spanish.
What does he do every day?
what does
What does
he do
he
every day?
do every day?
What does he do every day? What does he do every day?
That's
What does he do every day?
He eats Mexican food.
He eats Mexican food.
He reads Mexican newspapers.
he
He
reads
reads
newspaper.
Mexican
He reads,
newspapers.
reads,
He
reads. He reads Mexican newspapers
He
he
reads Mexican
reads
newspapers.
and he listens to Mexican music.
And
And he listens to Mexican
Listen,
music.
he listens.
he
He
listens
listens.
to Mexican music.
Okay, very good. Edwin, I am Alpha, you are Bravo. What's his name?
His name is Miguel.
Where does he live?
He lives in Mexico City.
He lives
He lives in Mexico City.
he lives in Mexico City.
In Mexico City.
Okay, de nuevo, he lives.
He lives in Mexico City.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Spanish.
He speaks
Speaks.
Spanish. What does he do every day?
He eats Mexican food. He reads Mexican newspapers, and he listens to Mexican music.
Okay, now Edwin, you are Alpha and I'm Bravo.
What's his name? His name?
No. Okay, his name is Miguel.
Where do
Does. Where does.
where does he live?
Live. He lives in Mexico City.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Spanish.
What does he do every day?
He eats Mexican food. he reads Mexican newspapers, and he listens to Mexican music. Okay. Eunice, you're Alpha, Abby, you're Bravo.
What's his name? His name is Miguel. Where does he live?
Where does he
He
live?
lives.
Where does he live? Wait, where does he live?
Where does he live?
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Mexico City.
Abby, he?
In Mexico
Oh,
City.
he?
He lives in Mexico City.
Okay.
What language
Language?
language does he speak?
Mm-hmm.
He speaks Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do every day?
Mm-hmm.
He eats Mexican food. He reads Mexican newspapers, and he listens to Mexican music.
Okay, now Abby, you're Alpha, Eunice, you're Bravo.
What's his name? His name is Miguel. Where does he live? He lives in Mexico City. What language does he speak? He speaks Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do every day? He eats Mexican food. He reads Mexican newspapers. And he listens to music.
He listens.
Listens to Mexican.
Listens.
He listens to
Con S al final.
Mexican.
He listens. S al final. He listens.
He listens to Mexican music.
Okay, very good. All right. Okay. Acuérdense que el posesivo para él es his, pero el posesivo para ella no es his. O sea, si estamos hablando de una mujer, ¿cuál es el posesivo para ella? ¿Sí se acuerdan del posesivo para ella? Para un hombre es his y para una mujer es her. ¿Ok? Entonces aquí tenemos las preguntas. Vamos a decidir si en la pregunta es hombre, vamos a usar his. Si es mujer, vamos a usar her. Si es hombre, vamos a usar he. Si es mujer, vamos a usar she. ¿Ok? ¿Correcto? Bueno, tenemos 6. Vamos a hacer las 6. ¿Ok? Pregunta y respuesta. ¿Ok? Hacemos esto. Igual, las mismas preguntas. ¿Ok? Esas 4 preguntas. Okay, let's check. Number 1, Abby.
What's her name? Her name is Kathy.
Kate.
Kate. Kate. Where does she live? She live?
Where does she live? Where does she live? Where does she live?
She live?
Huh?
Where does she live? She lives
Lives?
in
She lives?
Toronto.
She lives?
She lives in Toronto.
Uh-huh.
What language does she speak?
Uh-huh.
She speaks English.
She speaks, la S. She speaks.
Sí, sí. Yes. She speaks English.
Uh-huh.
What does she do every day?
What does she do? What does she do?
What
What does she
What?
do?
What does she do every day?
Entonación.
She eats.
What does she do every day? What does she do every day? What does she
What
do
does
every
she do
day?
every day?
Hmm?
She eats Canadian food.
She eats
She's
Canadian.
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 She eats.
Canadian.
She eats Canadian food.
Canadian. Canadian.
Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
She reads Canadian newspapers.
Newspapers, plural.
Newspapers.
Newspapers. Uh-huh.
And she listens
Listens,
To.
S al final. Es importante pronunciar la S, como viboritas. Listens, listens.
She listens to Canadian music.
Canadian,
Canadian
Canadian.
music.
Okay, good. Eunice, number 2. Edwin, no te
Mm.
vemos, Edwin.
What his name? What
Ajá.
his name?
Ujú,
His name is Carlos.
ujú,
Where does he live?
ajá.
He lives in
Lives. He lives.
lives. He lives in San Juan City.
Ajá. San Juan. Yo San Juan. He lives in San Juan.
Okay, San Juan.
Ajá.
What language does he speak?
Ajá.
He speaks Spanish.
Speaks. Es al final.
Speak.
Speaks.
He speaks Spanish.
Ajá.
What does he do every day?
Ajá.
He eats Puerto Rican food.
Ajá.
He reads
Reads.
Puerto
He
Rican.
reads.
He reads Puerto Rican newspapers,
Ajá.
and he listens
Listen. Listens.
listens to Puerto Rican music.
Okay, Edwin, number 3.
Sí. What's her name? Her name is Anna. Where does
Does. Where does. Does.
Where-
Does.
where does she live?
Live. Where does she live?
Where does she live? She live Athens.
She lives in Athens. She
She
lives.
in
Lives. Es al final.
she
Aquí
lives
le
in
tenemos que agregar una S al final a los verbos. She
She
lives.
in Athens.
Ajá.
What language does she speak?
Does.
What language does she speak?
Ajá.
She speak six she
Sí.
speaks
She speaks
she speaks Greek.
Greek. ¿Ah?
Ajá. Y el otro ya está ahí, ese ya no me dio. Ah, no, sí, espérame tantito. What does she do every day?
Ajá. What does she do every day?
She eats Greek food. She reads Greek newspaper and
Newspapers.
and she listens to Greek music.
Okay, very good. Abby, number 4.
What his name?
Mhm.
His name is Min.
Okay.
Where does he live?
Mm-hmm.
Where does he live?
Mm-hmm.
He lives.
Lives.
He lives
Lives.
in Hong Kong.
Lives.
He lives in Hong Kong.
Uh-huh.
What language does he speak?
Mm-hmm.
He speaks
Chinese.
Chinese.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What does he do every day?
Mm-hmm.
He eats.
It's.
He eats Chinese food.
Chinese.
He
Chinese.
Chinese
Uh-huh. Chinese.
Chinese food. He reads Chinese newspapers, and he listens to
Listens.
listens to Chinese music.
Okay, good. Eunice, next, number 5.
What's her name?
What's her name?
What's her name? Her name is Sonia.
Mm-hmm.
Where does she live?
Uh-huh.
She lives in Rio de Janeiro.
Uh-huh.
What language does she speak?
Mhm.
She speaks Portuguese.
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 Uh-huh.
Okay. What does she do every day?
Mhm.
She eat. She eats Brazilian food.
Brazilian food. Uh-huh.
Brazilian food. She read Brazilian newspapers
Mhm.
and she listens to Brazilian music.
Brazilian music. Brazilian.
Brazilian.
Okay. Edwin, number 6, Edwin.
What's his name?
Te vemos, Edwin.
Sorry. What's his name? His name is Omar.
Mhm.
Where does does
Das.
where does he live?
Mhm.
He lives in Cairo.
Ajá, en Cairo. Mhm.
In Cairo. What language does he
Das.
what language does he speak?
Mhm.
He speaks Arabic.
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 Huh?
What do is does
Uh-huh.
what does he do every day?
Every
Uh,
day. Every
every
day.
day.
Mhm.
He eats Egyptian.
Egyptian.
He eats Egyptian food.
Egyptian.
He eats Egyptian food.
Mhm.
He reads Egyptian and
Newspapers, plural.
papers,
Newspapers. Uh-huh.
and he listens to Egyptians,
Egyptian.
Egypt, Egyptian music,
Egyptian.
Egyptian
No
music,
Egyptian.
Egyptian music.
Okay, very good. Questions? Do you have questions? No? Okay, let's practice in pairs. We're going to practice in pairs, okay? Abby and Eunice are going to practice again together, all right? So remember, 2 times, okay? 2 times. And I'm going to practice with Edwin. Okay, Edwin, let's wait for them to leave and we are going to practice here. Okay, Edwin. Okay, Edwin. Okay, what's her name?
Her name is Kate.
Where does she live?
She lives in Toronto.
What language does she speak?
She speaks
She speaks.
English.
She speaks. She
She
speaks.
speaks English.
What does she do every day?
She eats Canadian.
Canadian.
Canadian. She eats Canadian food. She reads Canadian newspapers and she listens to Canadian music.
Listens.
Listens to Canadian music.
Okay, what's his name?
His name is Carlos.
Where does he live?
He lives in San Juan.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Spanish.
What does he do every day?
He eats Puerto Rican food. He reads Puerto Rican newspapers and he listens to Puerto Rican music.
Okay, what's her name?
Her name is Anna.
Where does she live?
She lives in Athens.
Okay, what language does she speak?
She speaks Greek.
She speaks, not she is speaks.
She
Speaks.
speaks Greek.
Okay, what does she do every day?
She eats Greek food. She reads Greek newspapers and she listens to Greek music.
Okay, what's his name?
His name is Ming.
Where does he live?
He lives in Hong Kong.
Okay, what language does he speak?
He speaks.
No.
He speaks
Uh-huh.
Chinese.
Chinese.
Chinese. He eats Chinese food. He reads Chinese newspapers, and he listens to listens to Chinese music.
Okay, what's her name?
Her name is Sonia.
Where does she live?
She lives in Rio de Janeiro.
In
No.
Rio de Janeiro. Rio
In
de
Rio,
Janeiro.
in
Rio
Rio,
de Janeiro.
in Rio de Janeiro.
What language does she speak?
She speaks Portuguese.
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 What does she do every day?
She eats Brazilian
Uh-huh.
food. She reads Brazilian newspapers and she listens to Brazilian music.
Okay, what's his name?
His name is Omar.
Where does he live?
He lives in Cairo. In Cairo.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Arabic.
Arabic. What does he do every day?
He eats Egyptian.
Egyptian.
He eats Egyptian food. He reads Egyptian newspapers and he listens to Egyptian music.
Okay, good. Now you ask me the questions.
Okay. What's her name?
Her name is Kate.
Where does she live?
She lives in Toronto.
What language does she speak?
She speaks English.
What does she do every day?
Every day.
Every day.
She eats Canadian food, she reads Canadian newspapers, and she listens to Canadian music.
What's his name?
His name is Carlos.
Where does he live?
He lives in San Juan.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Spanish.
What does he do every day?
He eats Puerto Rican food, he reads Puerto Rican newspapers, and he listens to Puerto Rican music.
What's her name?
Her name is Ana.
Where does she live?
She lives in Athens.
What language does she speak?
She speaks Greek.
What does she do every day?
She eats Greek food, she reads Greek newspapers, and she listens to Greek music.
What's his name?
His name is Ming.
Where does he live?
He lives in Hong Kong.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Chinese.
What does he do every day?
He eats Chinese food, he reads Chinese newspapers, and he listens to Chinese music.
What's her name?
Her name is Sonia.
Where does she live?
She lives in Rio de Janeiro.
What language does she speak?
She speaks Portuguese.
What does she do every day?
Brazilian food, she reads Brazilian newspapers, and she listens to Brazilian music.
What's his name?
His name is Omar.
Where does he live?
He lives in Cairo.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Arabic.
What does he do every day?
He eats Egyptian food, he reads Egyptian newspapers, and he listens to Egyptian music. Okay, Edwin? ¿Sí le entiendes a todas las preguntas y a las respuestas?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Y entonces el nuevo miembro de su familia, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Mateo? No.
Todavía está indeciso.
Ah, ya.
Todavía está indeciso.
Matías ha de estar bien contento.
O sea, sí, y celoso. Okay, finish, Abby? Finish it. Unice? Yes? More or less? Do you have problems? ¿Tuvieron problemas?
Le faltaron dos a la vez por práctica.
¿Faltaron dos? A ver, de una vez. A ver, ¿cuáles te faltaron? ¿Cuáles te faltaron? ¿La cuatro, la cinco y la seis?
Faltó las 5 y las 6.
Ahí está.
Yo le pregunto.
No sé quién va.
Bueno,
Sí.
yo te pregunto.
¿Sí?
What's her name?
Her name is Sonia.
Where does she live?
She lives in Rio de Janeiro.
He lives
She lives in Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro.
Ujú.
What language does she speak? She speaks Portuguese.
Portuguese. Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Ujú.
What does she do every day?
She eats Brazilian food. She reads Brazilian newspapers and she listens to Brazilian music. What's his name? His name is Omar.
Where does he live?
He in lives in Cairo.
What language does he speak?
He speaks Arabic.
What does he do every day?
He eats Asian food.
Egyptian.
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 Egyptian. He eats Egyptian food. He reads Egyptian newspapers and he listens to Egyptian music.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's continue. Oh, recuerden, les recuerdo que cuando usamos la pregunta, por ejemplo, usamos el does, el auxiliar does, el verbo va normal, ¿ok? Solamente en la oración afirmativa es cuando le tenemos que agregar ese al verbo a he, she, it, ¿ok? Ok, bueno, seguimos. Where do they live and what do they do? Y aquí tenemos otra vez la tabla, Edwin. No te vemos, Edwin, te desapareciste. Aquí tenemos otra vez la tabla. I live, we live, you live, they live. Y aquí she le tenemos que agregar una S. He lives, she lives, it lives. Y luego la pregunta. Where do I live? Where do we live? Where do you live? Where do they live? Where does he live? Where does she live? Where does it live? Note que cuando tenemos en pregunta el auxiliar, el verbo está normal, ¿ok? Igual en la otra pregunta, what do I do? What do you do? Etcétera. What does he do? What does she do? Acuérdense, la primera pregunta es ¿dónde vive? Y la segunda pregunta es ¿qué hace? ¿Ok? So here we have, okay, repeat please, repeat. Open your microphones, turn on your microphones, and it's, my name is Linda.
My name is Linda.
My name is,
My
no
name is Linda.
separen el name de Liz, lo unen. My name is, my name
name
is. Unen la M
My
con el
name-
is. My name is Linda.
My name is Linda.
My name is
Okay.
Linda.
No se separan las palabras, ¿ok? Cuando una palabra termina con una consonante y la siguiente es una vocal, se une la consonante con la vocal. My name is Linda. Ok, de nuevo. My name is Linda.
My name is Linda.
I live in London.
I
I
live
live in
in
London.
London.
I work in a library.
I
I
work
work in a library.
No separen, no separen. I work in a library. No. Unan el work con in. K con el in. I work in a library.
I
I
work
work
at
in a
library.
library.
My name is Brian.
My name is
My
Ryan.
name is Brian.
I live in Boston.
I live in Boston.
I work in a bank.
I
I
work
work in a
at
bank.
We're Walter and Wendy.
We're Walter.
We're Walter and Wendy.
We live in Washington, D.C.
We live
We're
in
living in
Washington,
Washington,
D.C.
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 We work in an office.
We work in an office.
In an office. In an office.
in an office.
In an office. In an office. In an office. In an office. Repeat. We work in an office.
We work in an office.
We work in an office. We work in an office.
in an
Todas las
We
palabras.
work in an
We
We
work
work in an office. We work in an office.
office.
We
Okay.
work in an office.
My name is Bob.
My name is
My
Bob.
name is Bob.
I live in Buffalo.
I live in
I
Buffalo.
live in Buffalo.
I drive a bus.
I
I
drive a
drive
bus.
a bus.
We're Howard and Henry.
We're Howard and Henry.
We live in Honolulu.
We live
We
in
live in
Honolulu.
Honolulu.
We paint houses.
We
paint
paint houses.
houses.
My name is Tina.
My
My
name.
name is Tina.
I live in Tampa.
I
I
live.
live in Tampa.
I drive a taxi.
I drive a taxi.
We're Carol and Ray.
We're
Carol and Ray.
Ray.
We live in Cleveland.
We live
We
in.
live in Cleveland.
We cook in a restaurant.
We
We
cook.
cook in a restaurant.
My name is Susan.
My name is
is
Susan.
Susan.
My name is Susan.
My name is Susan.
I live in San Diego.
I live
I
in San
live
Diego.
in San Diego.
I sell cars.
I sell
I
cars.
sell cars.
My name is Victor.
My name is.
My name is Victor.
I live in Vancouver.
I live
I
in.
live in Vancouver.
I play the violin.
I
I
play
play the
the violin.
violin.
Okay, very good. Eunice, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Read, please, in English.
Okay. My name is Linda. I live in London.
I live in London. I live
I
in
live
London.
in London. And work in a
I
library.
work. I
work in a library.
okay, number 2.
My name is Ryan. I'm living in Boston.
No, I'm living. I live in Boston. I live.
Yes,
Living,
I
no, no
live
lleva
in
ing. I
Boston.
live in Boston. Huh?
I live in Boston. I work in a bank. Work Walter and Wendy.
We're Walter and Mel and Wendy. We're.
We're Walter and Wendy.
Mhm.
We live in Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
We work in an office.
In an office. In an office.
In
an
an
office.
office.
Okay, yeah.
We work in an office.
Okay, Edwin, 4, 5, and 6. My
We're.
name is Bob. My name is Bob.
My name is Bob. I live in Buffalo. I drive a bus.
I drive.
I drive a bus.
A bus. I drive a bus.
I drive a bus.
Mhm.
We're Howard and Henry.
Mhm.
We live in Honolulu.
In Honolulu. We live in.
We live in Honolulu. We paint houses.
We paint houses. We paint.
We paint houses. My name is Tina. I live in Tampa.
Mhm.
I drive a taxi. I drive.
No.
I drive.
No. Manejar no se dice drive.
Drive.
No, manejar no se dice drive.
Drive, no.
I drive.
I drive a taxi.
Okay. Abby.
We Carol and Ray.
And Ray.
We live in Cleveland. We cook in a restaurant. My name is Susan. I live in San Diego. I sell cars. My name is Victor. I live in Vancouver and play the violin.
I play the violin. Okay.
I play the violin.
Okay, very good. You know, mi nombre es Linda, vivo en Londres, trabajo en una biblioteca, okay? like that. Do you have questions here? No? ¿Todo está claro? ¿Sí? Okay. Now, it says the instruction, use these models to talk with other students about the people above. Tenemos 3 oraciones y por cada oración tenemos que hacer una pregunta. Por ejemplo, dice, my name is Linda. ¿Cuál sería la pregunta para eso? ¿Cuál sería la pregunta? Abby,
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
¿cuál
Ah,
es tu nombre en inglés?
what what's her name?
Her name, no, porque dice
No,
my
What
name is Linda.
what's your name?
What's your name? Y la segunda dice, I live in London. Yo vivo en Londres. ¿Cuál sería la pregunta, Edwin? I live in London.
¿Dónde
Aquí
vive
están las
ella?
preguntas arriba. Aquí están las preguntas.
Sería, where does live?
No, porque dos, no, no puede ser dos, porque dos es para he, she.
Where do you
Y aquí
live?
dice I. Si la respuesta es con I, la pregunta tiene que ser con you.
Ok.
Entonces, ¿cómo sería la pregunta, Edwin? Where?
Where do you live?
Where do you live? Y la respuesta es I live in London. Y la tercera, Unice, dice I work in a library. ¿Cuál sería la pregunta? What?
What do you do?
What do you do? I work in a library. Aquí sí, la pregunta es what do you do es a qué te dedicas. What do you do? Yo trabajo en una biblioteca. ¿Ok?
Mhm.
Ok. My name is Brian. Edwin, what's the question? My name is Brian. What's the question?
What's your name?
Correct. Abby, I live in Boston.
Where do you live?
Where do you live? Eunice, I work in a bank.
What do you do?
Okay. Eunice, we're Walter and Wendy. What's the question?
Es
What's the question for we're Walter and Wendy? Es la misma que
what
para
are
los
you there? Are you name?
No. What are your names? Plural. What are your names? Okay.
What
What
are
are
you?
your names? Okay. The second, Abby, we live in Washington, D.C.
Mm,
We live in
what
Washington, D.C.
what no where
Mhm.
where do
Yes,
we
where
live?
do you live? Where do you live? Okay.
Where do you live?
Yeah, where do you live? Okay. And the number 3, we work in an office. We
Uh,
work in an office.
we work in an office. Sería,
What?
what does he do?
Pero ¿por qué she? Si dice
No,
la respuesta es we, nosotros.
perdón. Entonces sería, where,
No,
este,
what? What?
what, what do you they do?
What do you do? What do you do? No puedes decir you and they juntos, ¿ok? What do you do? ¿Qué hacen ustedes, ok? ¿A qué se dedican? ¿Ok? My name is Bob, Abby.
Eh, what's your name?
Okay, I live in Buffalo, Eunice.
Where do you live?
Okay, I drive a bus, Edwin.
What he,
No, I drive a bus. Si la respuesta es con I, la pregunta tiene que ser obligatoriamente con you.
ok, entonces, what do you do?
Okay. Edwin, we are Howard and Henry.
Where do they live?
A ver, yo les pregunto, ¿dónde viven ellos? Y la respuesta es, somos Howard y Henry.
No, perdón. Where do you
No es con
we?
where, no es con where. A ver, por ahí te va a ayudar Eunice. Eunice, we're Howard and Henry.
What are your name?
What are your names? ¿Cuáles son sus nombres? Ok, Edwin. ¿Cuáles son sus nombres? Ok, Abby, we live in Honolulu.
Where do you live?
Where do you live? Edwin, we paint houses.
We paint houses. What what mm, do we do? No. No, what do you do?
What do you do? What do you do? Sí, en algunas ocasiones se podía contestar con we, preguntar con we y responder con we, pero en esta no, porque a menos que estén loquitos y que tengan Alzheimer, dijeran, oye, ¿a qué nos dedicamos nosotros? Como que no sé a qué me dedico, ¿no? Alguien me dio un tubazo en la cabeza y no recuerdo nada, en ese caso sí, pero una conversación normal sería, what do you do? ¿Qué hacen ustedes? ¿A qué se dedican ustedes? ¿Ok? Edwin, my name is Tina.
And what's your name?
Okay. Abby, I live in Tampa.
Where do you live?
Okay. Eunice, I drive a taxi.
What do you do?
What do you do? Okay. Eunice, we're Carol and Ray.
What are your name?
Okay. Your names, plural. What are your names?
Cierto.
Edwin, we live in Cleveland.
¿Cuál es Cleveland?
Cleveland es Cleveland. Es una ciudad.
Ah, entonces sería.
Pero te tienes que fijar en el verbo que es live. We
Ajá,
live. Nosotros vivimos en.
ajá, entonces sería. ¿Dónde? Where,
Where?
do you live?
Where do you live? Okay. Abby, we cook in a restaurant.
What do you do?
Okay. Abby, my name is Susan.
What's your name?
Okay. Edwin, I live in San Diego.
What do you do? No. No, perdón. What does she do?
No puede ser porque dice yo vivo en San Diego. No puede ser. ¿A qué te dedicas? Ah, vivo en San Diego. No puede ser.
Entonces sería. Where does she live?
Pero ¿por qué she? Si la respuesta dice I.
Entonces sería.
Respuesta es con I, la pregunta es con
You.
you. Obligatoriamente, así tiene que ser.
Sería. Where do you live?
I live in San Diego. Okay. Eunice, I sell cars.
What do you do?
What do you do? Edwin, my name is Victor.
What's your name?
What's your name? Abby, I live in Vancouver.
Where do you live?
Okay. And Eunice, I play the violin.
What do you do?
That's correct. Very good. Okay. Let's go to the reading. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo. Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures. This is Mr. DiCarlo and this is Mrs. DiCarlo and this is their son, su hijo. They are reading the newspapers. They are listening to the radio. They are buying fruit and they are talking and drinking coffee with their friends, okay? And here is their son. They are speaking Italian. Look, buongiorno, right? They are speaking Italian. And here in the second picture, the second set of pictures, we have, hi, he's speaking English. He's reading the newspapers. He's listening to music. He's driving and he's talking to his friends. And here we have other pictures. Okay, let's read. Let's read. It says, Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo live in an old Italian neighborhood in New York City. They speak a little English, but usually they speak Italian. They read the Italian newspaper, they listen to Italian radio programs, they shop at the Italian grocery store around the corner from their apartment building, and every day they visit their friends and neighbors and talk about life back in the old country. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are upset about their son Joe. He lives in a small suburb outside the city. He speaks a little Italian. Oh, my son is crying. I don't know what happened. But usually he speaks English. He reads American newspapers. He listens to American radio programs. He shops at big suburban supermarkets and shopping malls. And when he visits his friends and neighbors, he always speaks English. In fact, Joe speaks Italian only when he calls his parents on the telephone or when he visits them every weekend. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are sad because their son speaks so little Italian. They're afraid he's forgetting his language, his culture, and his country. Ok, aquí hay algunas palabritas tal vez nuevas, como por ejemplo, bueno, no, ya groserista ya lo sabemos, tienda de abarrotes, in the old country, en el viejo país, que es Italia, upset, ya saben que upset es como molesto, pero es una mezcla de triste y enojado. Suburb es suburbio o afuera de la ciudad. Shop es comprar. Shop, comprar. Shopping malls, bueno, tiendas o plazas. In fact, significa de hecho. So little es muy poco. So little, muy poco. They're afraid. Ellos temen o ellos están temerosos. They're afraid. Forget es olvidar. Okay, do you have questions here?
¿Cuáles eran las últimas dos que dijo?
They're afraid es ellos están temerosos o ellos temen. Ellos temen. Y forget es olvidar. Ellos temen que él esté olvidando su idioma. Ellos temen que él esté olvidando su idioma. ¿Ok?
Oh my God, entendí el mismo párrafo.
Yes. Okay, let's read. Abby, you begin. Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo, in English, please.
Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo live in an old Italian new neighborhood in New York City.
New York City. New York City.
New York City. They speak a little English, but usually usually they speak Italian. They read the Italian newspaper. They listen to Italian radio programs.
Radio programs. Radio programs.
The shop and the Italian.
They shop.
They shop and the Italian grocery store around the corner from their apartment.
There, la I no suena. There, la I no suena. From their apartment building.
Their apartment building. And every day they visit their friends and neighbors.
There, la I no suena. La I no suena. Their friends. Their friends.
Their friends and neighbors and talk about.
And talk about. La L no suena. And talk about.
Live back in the old country.
Okay, life is vida. Okay, life is vida. Life. All right. Okay, Eunice, Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are upset.
Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are upset about their son Joe.
Joe.
He lives in a small suburb outside the city. He speaks a little Italian.
He speaks a little Italian.
But usually he speaks English. He reads American newspapers. He listens.
No suena. He listens.
He listens to American
Radio, radio.
radio programs.
Uh-huh.
He shops at big suburban supermarkets
Mhm,
and shopping malls.
mhm,
And when he visit
mhm,
his friends and neighbors,
mhm.
he always
He always.
always speaks English.
Okay, very good. Okay. Edwin, in fact,
Uh-huh. In fact,
in
you,
fact, no,
in
in
fact,
fact, no, in fact, in fact,
in fact, Joe speaks Italian eh, only, only,
only, only, only
only,
is solamente, okay? Only, solamente, o solo, solo o solamente, only.
only when he calls
Ajá,
his parents on the cell phone,
on the telephone, on the telephone.
the telephone, or when he visits,
Visits them, or when he visits them,
he visits them, uh, every,
visits them,
visits them every weekend.
weekend,
Week,
weekend is fin de semana, okay? Weekend, fin de
weekends.
semana, okay? Mister,
Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo are sad because their son speaks so little Italian. They're afraid he's forgetting,
forgetting,
forgetting, forgetting his language,
language,
his culture,
culture,
uh,
his
his
culture,
culture, his culture, and his country.
country, his country. Okay, good.
Mister,
Okay.
sorry, ¿cuál era only y el otro, el weekhead?
Only es solo o solamente,
Ajá,
solo o solamente, weekend es fin de semana.
gracias.
In fact, de hecho, okay? Okay, Abby, translate into Spanish the first part, please. El señor y la señora Di Carlo viven.
El señor y la señora Di Carlo viven en la vieja Italia,
No, en un
el
vecindario,
vecindario,
un viejo
en un viejo
vecindario
vecindario en Nueva York.
italiano. En un viejo vecindario italiano en Nueva
Ah,
York.
en un viejo vecindario italiano en Nueva York.
Ujú,
Ellos hablan un poco de inglés,
ujú.
pero usualmente, sí es usualmente,
Actualmente, ujú,
ellos hablan italiano.
ujú,
Ellos leen el periódico italiano,
ujú,
ellos escuchan los programas de radio italianos,
ujú.
ellos compran, sí,
Compran
compran
en la
en,
tienda italiana,
en la tienda italiana que está a la vuelta del apartamento,
en la vuelta de su edificio de departamentos.
a la puerta de su edificio.
Ujú.
Y todos los días ellos visitan a sus amigos y a sus vecinos y
Y hablan,
hablan
ujú,
sobre el,
sobre la vida.
sobre, sobre la vida en su viejo país.
Ok. Eunice, el señor y la señora Di Carlo están molestos.
El señor y la señora Di Carlo están molestos por su hijo
Ajá, por
Joe.
su hijo Joe. Ujú.
Él vive en eh,
En un pequeño,
suburbio
en un pequeño suburbio. Ajá.
de la ciudad,
Afuera,
fuera de la ciudad,
outside is afuera, outside, afuera de la ciudad.
fuera de la ciudad. Él habla poco italiano,
Un poco italiano.
pero
Ujú.
sí, ¿no?
Pero, ajá.
Pero usualmente habla inglés.
Ujú,
Él lee
ujú,
el periódico americano
ujú,
de América.
ujú. Americanos. Ujú.
Ujú. Él escucha la radio americana los
Ujú,
programas de radio americanos.
ujú,
Él compra en grandes supermercados
ajá,
y plazas
ajá.
y visita a sus
Y
amigos.
cuando when es cuando. Y cuando él visita,
Allá. Y cuando él visita a sus amigos y vecinos,
ujú,
¿qué era algo?
siempre.
Siempre habla inglés.
Ok, good. Edwin, no te vemos, Edwin. De hecho,
¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué
Sorry.
es esto?
de hecho,
De hecho,
go,
este,
go.
John vive en Italia.
No, speak no vive.
Speak era va.
No, tampoco.
¿Qué era speak? Era no sé qué es speak.
Qué barbaridad, Edwin. A ver, revisa tus notas de los
Eh,
ejercicios, de hecho, de los ejercicios que hicimos hoy, las preguntas. A ver, revisa qué es speak. Tienes que hacer anotaciones, Edwin.
sí.
¿Qué es speak? Ahí están las preguntas.
Ah, él habla
Ok.
italiano
Ujú.
en only
Solamente,
solamente
when
él
es cuando, solamente cuando
cuando él va a su apartamento,
llama, cuando él llama.
llama llama a su apartamento,
No, Parents no es apartamento.
llama sus padres por
Por
teléfono.
teléfono. Ujú. O
en- o ¿cuál era Gwen? Ya se me olvidó. Era cuando o
cuando
cuando él visita
los visita, cuando él los visita.
o cuando los visita, sí, everybody
No es everybody, dice nada más every. Cada fin de
cada
semana.
fin de semana.
Ok.
Miss, el señor y la señora de Carlo,
Ujú.
este, están muy preocupados,
Oh, no, sad es tristes. Están tristes
están tristes por su, están
porque
tristes
su hijo,
porque su hijo, Little, ¿cuál era?
¿qué es speak? A ver, Edwin, ¿qué es speak? Porque su hijo,
Ah, porque su hijo habla muy poco italiano.
ajá,
Este, temen que olvide su
temen que
lenguaje,
está olvidando,
temen que esté olvidando su lenguaje cultural,
no, su idioma,
su idioma
su
cultural,
cultura, no, su
cultura,
cultura, hay una coma, son separadas, son cosas separadas. Su
su
idioma,
lenguaje, su
su
cultura y
cultura,
country,
su país.
y su país.
Ok, very good. Ok, y aquí tenemos en la siguiente página, tenemos las preguntas del Reading Checkup. What's the answer? Tienen que escribir la respuesta. Where do Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo live? Y la respuesta sería in an old Italian neighborhood in New York City. ¿Ok? ¿Correcto? Pero les voy a dejar esta parte de tarea. Esta parte del Reading Checkup. El Reading Checkup se las voy a dejar de tarea. Van a hacer esta de la 1 a la 10 y también van a hacer esta parte que dice which word is correct. ¿Cuál palabra es correcta? ¿Ok? Which word is correct? ¿Correcto?
Yes.
Excepto el listening no, porque no tiene un audio. O sea, prácticamente van a hacer toda la página 84, toda la página 84, excepto el listening. ¿Correcto?
Ujú.
Esa es tarea. ¿Preguntas?
Ninguna.
Ok, Edwin, hay que repasar por las clases que perdiste, hay que ver los videos, ¿ok? Hay que ver los videos, también se los mandé al teléfono de tu mamá, ahí los tienes, para
Ujú,
que veas por qué se le agrega ese, etcétera, qué personas, etcétera, ¿ok? Para que te pongas al corriente. Creo que sí faltas como 2 clases seguidas, ¿no?
ujú.
Ok. Y ya nos vemos la próxima semana, ¿ok? No
Bye.
questions? No? Ok. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
Bye.
Monday. Bye.
Ah, Mister,
Sí.
le queremos decir que ve que la próxima semana no vamos a estar en clase.
Ah, cierto, porque las clases, ¿verdad? Pues porque
Ajá, exacto. Entonces, pero de todos modos,